shot her in the back of the head. Shot her in the titty, got her pregnant. Was fucking her when she was 12.
What is going on? Excuse me. What's popping, people? Oh, shit. Gotta find a station real quick. I meant to talk about this a few days ago. It's probably a dead issue already, but I'm still inspired in ways of my brain piece. From what I heard, Georgia recently passed some stringent abortion laws. Whether I'm for abortion or not, I mean, it's not my body, really. I don't think it should be done after a certain time, but that's irrelevant. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, is it logical that Tiffany Haddish canceled her tour in Georgia, or her performances in Georgia, due to the laws that were passed? And me, I don't think it makes sense. I think it's stupid. Main reason why I think it's stupid is because I'm more than sure the people that passed this quote-unquote bill aren't fans of her comedy, don't support her comedy, don't have anything to do with her machine. So why should Tiffany Haddish's fans suffer and not be entertained because of decisions that some lobbyists made that have nothing to do with her? Now, if you want to say it's punishment on her part, like, well, if you would have voted for the right people, then these laws would be getting passed. If she's thinking all along those lines, I could see that, but I highly doubt that. Highly doubt that. In my opinion, it just doesn't make sense. The way some of us protest and choose to do things, there's just no logic behind it. It's the pop thing to do. It's the in thing to do. Hey, let's protest. They're going against women's rights. So I'm not going to perform. So you're not going to perform for her. I mean, I don't know what type of a draw she is, but I mean, she's like one of the top urban female comedians, and she's crossed over to mainstream. So she's one of the top urban female comics that has crossed over out right now. So I'm sure she has a pretty good draw. And I'm more than sure she appeals to a liberal audience. She could use that platform as an opportunity to like express her views, but in a comedic form on stage in Georgia. Why take your voice away completely? Now, by her making that stance, that's still using her voice, so to speak. But I think it would speak more loud if she was actually on stage, getting busy, getting at those lobbyists. Because she can galvanize and rally the troops. So when it comes time for that vote, it's like doing a campaign almost, but a comedic campaign. You know what I'm saying? Yes, by boycotting and refusing to perform, inaction is a stance in itself, but I just don't see the logic behind that. Like, her not performing in Georgia is going to make the lobbyists change their minds. Now, like I said, if she's just thinking on a whole, like a higher level, and this is a way to influence potential leftist voters to get that law changed within a couple of years, or to get that bill changed within a couple of years, then I get it, but I highly doubt that much thought went into it. Or maybe I'm just stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about. I highly doubt that. Like, you know what? I want these motherfuckers to vote the right way, so I'm not gonna perform till they change shit. And the way you change shit is by the vote. So maybe there was a long game, but I feel like in Hollywood a lot of times things just have a knee-jerk reaction. and things manifest out of said reactions. And then they give meaning to whatever it is they did as it unfolds. They didn't have this like the whole, you know, Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. He didn't know it was going to have as much backlash as it did. He just wanted to bring attention to police brutality by taking a knee during the national anthem, a time when everybody's paying attention to the television screen. On paper, it's a brilliant idea, but cost him a career, you know? Even though his career was almost done, but that's neither here nor there. But I just don't think her not performing, it doesn't make sense. Perform, get on stage, talk about that shit in a funny way, you know, but in a way that's thought provoking. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to be a politician. You a comic, man. If you want to be a politician, become a politician. As comedians, we fight our battles on stage. We attack subjects and ideas that people are afraid to touch, right? We create the dialogue. It's all about creating the dialogue. You can have the ideas in your head all you want, but you still, like, ultimately, you have to create that dialogue. And comedians, we are the ones that create that dialogue. So if you take yourself away from the stage, yes, it creates a dialogue because you chose not to perform due to laws that were being passed, but how much more could have been said if you was on stage? Like, I got some vague ideas if I was a female comic and talking about them trying to control my body, but I'm not going to write their jokes. I'm not going to write for them. You know what I'm saying? So if I have some inklings of ideas, I'm sure she probably she could have had a ton of ideas, but maybe her publicist, maybe her people was telling her not to do it. But she could have used her tour as a campaign. She could have had a little, like a lot of comedians, you know, especially deep comics like D.L. Hughley and T.K. Kirkland, you know, they'll have like a nice little positive saying that they say at the end or whatever, you know, or a positive message or a positive theme throughout the whole thing. She could have did the same thing. Instead of running away from it, I'm not gonna perform. To me, performing would have been a much stronger position, man. With them fans, and why should the fans be punished? The lobbyists ain't making money off of her performing at a comedy club. The comedy club's making money. The fans are being entertained. You got people that work jobs, they work concessions. You got families that count on these nights to feed their family. You know what I'm saying? So you pulling out the show from something that could have generated $10, $15, $20,000 in one night and feed a lot of people, but you're gonna pull out of it just because of what some lobbyists did? That doesn't make sense to me, man. Now, if you were given to, if she was like providing to some type of foundation that ultimately wound up being on the side of lobbyists that passed those adverse abortion laws, then that would make sense. You know, if that comedy club was owned by one of the lobbyists. Maybe it was. Listen, I'm speaking from the dark, right? I didn't really research this situation. I just heard she just boycotted. But I feel like if whatever club or whatever venues or whatever circuit that she was on, if it was associated with the lobbyists who got those bills passed and made different abortion laws in Georgia, I think that's something that would be spoken about. You know? So what? What if everybody followed suit? No liberal decided to do any type of business with Georgia, period, just because of like a few lobbyists. That doesn't make sense, man. I feel like people, we protest, we do shit the wrong way, man. You can still picket in front of those abortion clinics. You can find out who's funding those abortion clinics. You know what I mean? There's different ways of doing it. Like stopping a comedy show is not gonna make the law change, man. Comedy, the main purpose is just to create a dialogue and to inspire and galvanize individuals who have that power, or to inspire and galvanize individuals associated with a person that has power in order to make change. Just by night, like I said, if her long game was her not performing was a means of influencing individuals, he said, wasn't nobody going to that shit. I don't know. I feel like Tiffany Haddish is a pretty good draw, man. I feel like she's pretty famous. It could be that too. I got a tour. They probably looked at some pre-sales, realized nobody wasn't going to show up. Nobody was going to show up. It's like, all right, fuck it. We're about to cancel this tour because pre-sales suck. But let's cancel the tour under the pretense that we're not going to do this tour because these abortion laws are messed up. I can see that too. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. I mean, these people are millionaires, right? So regardless of what my feeble brain might come up with, there's motherfuckers that think 12, 30, 40 steps ahead of what I do. Which is why they're millionaires. I mean, she might not be funny to you or to some people, but there's a draw for her, you know, and people pay for her. You understand what I'm saying? There's a market for who she is. So funny or not, man, she's taking care of herself. She's taking care of her family, and she's taking care of a lot of people, man. Comedy, like, though being funny is important, it's not the most important thing. You know? Though funny is important, it's not the most important thing. It's a part of it. You can be funny as shit, but you could be unlikable. You can be funny as shit, but you could be a drug addict. Like, how many fucking crackheads is mad funny? They're hilarious, but you want to hire them and put them in a position to get bread because they fucking crackheads, but they're hilarious. So funny is not the most important thing, man. Being responsible is the most important thing, man. And being professional, that's the most important thing. If you happen to be funny, that's great. That's even better. You know? That's even better. But you know, my goal is funny. Ultimately, my goal is to be the funniest person I can possibly be. But excuse me. Yeah, I don't think it makes sense. Now the brother Maurice Reese came up with some theories. It's a possibility, like, yeah, like maybe the sales wasn't looking good, so this is a perfect opportunity to use those politicians as a scapegoat. Because it's like, what average politician is going to like some hood comedy show? Like, think about it. Now I can see if it was like when people boycotted going to the presidential dinner, things of that nature. That I can understand, you know, because of a lot of the crazy wild shit that Trump says. So I can get that. That's direct, and he's always involved in his social media, and he's always, you know, meddling and getting involved with various situations. So that I can understand, but to boycott performing at a comedy show, a comedy club, and all the patrons suffering for something that somebody that passed some laws in a state that probably don't even know. They probably don't even know Tiffany Haddish exists. And that whole comedy club should suffer. What up, Don Perez? That whole comedy club should suffer because of that. I don't co-sign it. I think it's bullshit. Something fishy is going on. Something strange is going on. I don't know. It just don't. For me personally, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. I become a big comic, right? Connecticut passes some bullshit law that a lot of liberals don't like. They offer me $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 for the weekend. I'm not going to not do the show, not get my money. You know what I mean? Take food out of a whole bunch of people's mouths. Take entertainment away from people. Just because a state that I happen to be performing in a state that passed some bullshit that my audience is against. Why should my audience suffer because the state passed some bullshit? That don't make That doesn't make sense to me, yo. But this is the bullshit that like liberals do. If anybody is the biggest clout chasers, it's liberals, man. I feel like even though I'm broke, I'm poor, and my living situation could be better, I feel like my mindset leans towards more conservative. But I feel like everybody has elements of liberal and conservative. We got elements of both, of all. But I lean more towards conservative. Personally, I do. Because I believe in accountability and like, you know, always putting the blame on somebody else, always looking for a handout, always looking to get rescued, always looking to get bailed out, always putting the blame. I don't co-sign that shit. And like in a nutshell, that's what the average liberal is. You can't say this, can't say that. Help me out. Think the way I think. Do this, do that. Gimme, beg. Like, I believe like whatever situation, especially if you live in America, whatever situation you're in life, man, 9 times out of 10, if you made it to a certain age, it's due to the decisions that you made. Yeah, kids die all the time, young adults die all the time, but if you 40, 45, 50 years old, whatever position you are in life, it's because you chose to be there. So if you want to be in a different position or a different situation, you got to start making different decisions. Right now, I'm driving to a comedy show in Danbury right now. The show, I was booked for it a while ago, but I didn't get all the details, and I just kind of forgot about it. And kind of thrown out there like, you know, are you free June 20th? And I was like, yeah, but I forgot all about it because at that time, all my gigs had dried up. My last gig was like May 25th. So I was like, yeah, my gigs are dried up May 25th, by May 25th, so you could book me for that. I mean, I've gotten booked a lot since then, or whatever. But like the venue, like, you know, like basically the only thing that was thrown out was a date, not the information. So I got the inbox today, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, my bad, I was going through some things, life happens, but can you do the show tonight? And I was like, oh yeah, I think the doors open at 7. I'm like, I'm getting off work at 6:30, so I could try to push it, but I'm gonna be there like late. And then he was like, oh, you know, it's kind of told, so whatever. I'll get you on the next joint. Then the dude hit me back up like an hour later. Oh, you know, we starting at 8. You still want to come? Now, my thing is, my mindset is, when something is set in my brain, that's how I go. If I see my work schedule, that's how my brain is set. I don't like deviating. So I already had it in my mind that I wasn't going to be going to Danbury to perform. But A, I'm getting paid. B, this is show business, baby. Like, sometimes you might get a last second call. You gotta go, you gotta take that shit, man. Yep. You get that last second call, you gotta go ahead and take that shit, bro. So I made the decision to hop on the road and go. Yeah, I'm tired. I got off of work at 6:30, but you know what? Before I even went to work, like I had to be to work by 2:40, right? So I got up at like 1:45, 2 o'clock. I took a shower, like I made sure I shaved real good. Like that's why my body's tight, my beard is crisp. You know what I'm saying? I made sure all that shit was done. I made sure all my clothes was ready. So, and I just drive a bus, so I don't get dirty. So I drove my shuttle for 3 hours. Got out the shuttle, went home, put on my clothes, talked to my brother for a little bit, and then I dipped out. That's it. Now, but I had to make a series of decisions in order to be going out to perform for these people, for this charity, and to be getting paid and making motherfuckers happy. I had to perform. It's not about my honey. It's not about Honeycomb. It's not about Tiff not needing that money. Other people eat based off of her too. It's not just her. The venue being open makes money. People have work hours. People get tips. There's a lot of people that are affected by her choosing not to perform over something that's so trivial. I think that shit is bullshit. Not trivial, but it's just unrelated to her audience. That's all I'm saying. It's not related to her audience. It's counterproductive. It doesn't make sense that she chose not to perform. Why should her fans suffer because of some decisions that some old white motherfuckers made? You know? Why should her fans suffer because of that? That doesn't make sense to me, though. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Well, Yo, it feel good to be riding in this little Camry, man. This shit ride smooth as hell, man. I love it. But that car note is coming. I gotta make sure my money is popping. Cause I gave up my bucket. My bucket is gone. Now I got this joint. But yeah, it just, I don't know. I in that situation, now if the owner of the club was one of the lobbyists, like I said before, or you know what I'm saying, or if the owners or anybody within that group had anything to whichever club she was performing at had something to do with the laws that was passed, I get it. I get that. But as stated before, if that was the case, then that would be something that we would know off the muscle. We would know that. Just like, oh, I'm not going to the presidential dinner because Donald Trump said X, Y, Z. You know, that's directly Donald Trump. You don't want to go to his place where he lives and sleeps and eats. I get that totally. But for her to punish one or a couple of comedy clubs for the entire Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? Or to punish the, you know what I'm saying, the whole Atlanta just for something that one old white dude said. Go down there, get on stage, tell your jokes, and fucking campaign, man. She can go tell her jokes, campaign, and fucking motherfucking promote Bernie Sanders. But no, you just gonna run and not be there at all. That doesn't make sense to me, man. It's not gonna accomplish anything. It's not gonna change the law. It's not gonna change the abortion bill. It's not gonna change none of that shit. Like, we gotta make stances that actually cause changes. It's just like whenever some of these cops get off for murder innocent black people, and then black folks riot, they'll riot, but then they'll like destroy their own neighborhood. And it's like, that doesn't, I understand you're mad and you're frustrated, but why are you going to destroy your own shit? That doesn't make no sense. We always protest and do counterproductive things. It just makes us look like bratty ass weak children, man. That doesn't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Whichever police department was responsible for getting Mike Brown killed, instead of rioting and fucking up your own city, I'm not saying riot and fuck up the city where that police officer came from, but that would make more sense. Or at least fucking protest around the police precinct. Do like a human chain around the police department that actually did that was actually responsible for what happened, and just be on some shit like, yo, we gonna keep doing this until like these officers start getting proper justice. Or fucking, hey, hell, the police officers, I mean the police precinct isn't responsible for the sentencing, so surround the court, surround the courts, protest there. Why do you want to destroy your own neighborhood? That's fucking dumb. And I feel like our community, we always just do counterproductive shit that doesn't really help. It doesn't make no sense, man. We protest and we fight against motherfuckers that's not really going to hit us back. Mike Brown gets killed in the city, so we loot and riot in the city that he was killed in, which is our own shit. That don't make no sense. Or the riots that happened in I think it was Maryland. It doesn't make no sense. And what Tiffany Haddish did is it's an equivalent of that in my eyes, with the information that I have in front of me. It just don't make no sense, man. I don't get it. I don't co-sign that Tiffany Haddish. You will never watch this video probably, but it doesn't make no sense. Maybe something deeper is going on. Maybe you're not a good draw, and your publicists and your people suggested that you use this as a scapegoat to have to not perform. But why should your fans suffer just because of a decision an old white dude made or a group of old white motherfuckers made? Why should your fans suffer? You need to go back on that, go down there, perform, promote Bernie Sanders, or promote whatever you want in your comedy act. That's the best way to do it, because you'll put the idea in your fans' heads, so the next time, 2 years from now, it comes to voting, they'll be influenced. But you not being there, it's not really helping nothing. It might help some, but I feel like you help a lot more if you're there than if you're not there. that's pretty much all I had to say. I am starving, and I will be in Danbury in about another 20-25 minutes. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.